Nerderotic.com.
Let's start with Mango and Grok. Yeah, it's Mango and Grok.
Mango and Grok.
Because there was a screening last night in L.A., and all the first reactions are out. It's feeling like a lot, me included, I'll use my I statements. It feels like I was giving too much credit to the brand of Star Wars, and after I'm hearing all this, I think it's gonna bomb.
Me and Ryan were talking about this last night. Like, I'm still not convinced it's going to be like below Solo, but I think it's pretty much a given that this is not going to be a huge success by any means. I still think 500 million might be in play, but it sounds terrible.
I don't know. I feel like that's too high.
Way too high.
Eli, you know the Mandalorian TV show, right?
Oh, 100%. I will just say, even from the marketing side, I didn't know that was a thing until a month ago. It's the first time I heard there was a movie coming out. And I've watched the show, but I was like, whoa, oh, they're doing a movie? I didn't even know that. And then, why are they doing a movie?
It's a good question.
It's a great question.
It feels like they needed something to put out, and they they needed something to put out, and they made the safest decision possible. And based on what I've heard from Gore has already went out there with Alan Ng and talked about it. Based on what I've heard, it is the worst Jon Favreau film ever made that he's made. It's a bad Star Wars film. Now I asked Chris if it's the worst Star Wars film. He said no, but he just said it's nothing. There's no cameos. There's some deep cuts that Ryan might understand, or some like hardcore fans, but that's about it.
Wow.
And it's sloppy. Even Harloff went out there and said he didn't like it.
Harloff did not give it a good review. Ass. Yeah, and he's been busting his ass as a Star Wars fan for 5 years.
Yeah, 5 years.
Harloff had his over on his channel. He had his initial like out of the theater, response, because it's not an official review, and he was very disappointed with it, pretty much. So I mean, he praised like a couple of things in the beginning of the reaction, but he basically was like, "This ain't it." And when you've lost people on that level of the, kind of the Disney side of things, it's in trouble. It's in.
Why
big
would they
trouble.
make this decision? It makes no sense. Like, let's take a TV show that has gone and lost viewership over time, over the span of 3 seasons, plus other spin-off shows, and let's make it a movie. So now people that are expecting a Star Wars
movie that's not really connected to what they established in the show at all.
It's not connected
way too much logic right now.
Or the movie universe. Like, normal people, like Eli just said, I didn't even know it was happening. They're going to show up. They're going to expect Star Wars level production, and they're going to show up, and it's going to be a TV movie on the screen, and they're going to snooze fest.
Well, it's all that fucking head right now, dude. Star Wars is fucking dead. This is the only thing that's been somewhat keeping it alive.
Yeah, I think they basically looked at everything and they were like, well, this has been one of the more liked things in recent times. Everything else has died on its arse. Yep. And so this was their only choice. The issue is, I don't think the Star Wars name can carry this, because I think a lot of Star Wars fans will never have watched anything on Disney+. They only know the movies. And so they won't really know anything about this. Right. They may have heard about it a bit, but never watched the series. And so they have no connection to it. And from all the advertising, the only connection people have to it is Grogu. If you don't like Grogu, the marketing isn't for you, and it doesn't pitch the movie as if it's for you. And that isn't the majority of the Star Wars fan base as it is. So it was always doomed, really.
Yeah,
but also this was a wild play. This was a wild play because, for years it was like, hey, we need to not put Star Wars back in theaters until we know it's going to be a success, because Solo scared the crap out of them. And then after Disney Plus came out and all of the franchises started to burn up, we heard from the decision makers at the corporate level were saying Mandalorian could make money, put it in theaters out of like a desperation. That's what this is. But this is going to fast track. The Star Wars remake is what's coming next.
Oh, yeah.
I also think that one of the reasons they decided to do this, in addition to like all the things you guys said, was they knew it would actually get done and could get done. Say what you will about Jon Favreau's stuff, but he makes it quickly. He keeps it on time. He keeps it on schedule. They also knew they could utilize the volume and keep the budget lower than a lot of their other Star Wars projects. So all those things combined, I think they found this to be the least risky thing that they could actually get out quickly and get Star Wars back in theaters. The problem is that if you had done this after season 1, maybe there is some excitement, or season 2, maybe there is some excitement. But now, after Mando season 3 revealed that it was what it always was, a massive pile of shit, after Book of Boba Fett, after all these things that have degraded not only the Mandoverse, but the Star Wars brand, Ahsoka, all this, there's just not an interest level. People are tired of the baby Grogu shtick, because that's what it is. It's a shtick. He can't fucking talk. Ha ha ha. Isn't that cute? People are over it. Even the retarded women that love this stupid green beast. So now you're in this spot where you are just completely and totally fucked. And I'm still sticking with my like $450 million guess, because I think it'll open similar to Solo and it'll hold slightly better because of families. But I don't know, man. I just can't see this taking off.
It's Grogu and the silver vibrator.
Dude,
It'll go great with women. They'll love it.
The theaters are fucking empty, dude. When I was buying my ticket, I went through. The only thing that is close to like being sold out is like the IMAX viewings in San Antonio. Everything else, it's like maybe a quarter of the way. Yeah, it's quarter full, halfway full. It looks really bad. There's still a lot of screenings that have like no seats sold, maybe like 1 or 2.
And that's pretty normal for most movies these days, right? Because it's like the premium formats do sell really well, but that also tells you a lot, because a lot of the bigger films that have come out the last several years that have had those kinds of numbers have failed, especially those with bigger budgets, because yeah, you're selling those tickets, but you're not selling the other tickets.
But yeah, if this was like 11 years ago, all these theaters would have been sold out.
Yep. Yeah, what do we have here?
This is a really interesting picture. On the right, there's a thing that says new force flow. And I'm wondering, what on earth could that product be?
Oh, this is
maybe
Bath
something
and
we can
Body
all
Works.
use.
Yes,
Especially
this is
men of a
Bath and
certain
Body
age.
Works display.
Yes, because nothing says Star Wars like cologne and soap.
And moisturizer.
Moisturizer. For adults, for adult women. For adult women.
What the fuck is force flight? Is it women?
Well, the colognes are
Sometimes you have a heavy one.
They're non-gender specific. Okay,
Oh,
let's
thank
all
God.
be very clear.
Thank God. I was going to be offended.
Like most of the viewers of the movie.
Tiny but powerful.
How exactly? You read that.
Green apple, salted lavender, and cosmic sage. What the hell is that?
Looks like a huge reverse butt
They
plug.
know what they're
Yeah,
marketing.
this whole display is very phallic.
This really looks like they're trying to target women and homosexuals. This doesn't look like
That's what Star Wars has been doing for the last 10 years.
I think it's perfect, because that's what Star Wars is now, and that's what Bath and Body Works is. It's for women and
synergy.
homosexuals.
Who is
what are
this
what are
for?
we talking about?
women and
It's for
homosexuals.
homosexuals.
They'll buy those things, but they won't go see the movie. That's the big problem that they have on their hands.
I bet that display has still not been touched. Who goes to Bath and Body Works anymore? And then second, what?
Women and homosexuals.
Yeah, I guess even now.
Yeah.
Ryan, did you see Star Wars Holocron?
Don't
post?
feel abnormal with
Pedro Pascal is the first Latino actor to receive top billing in a Star Wars movie.
Nobody fucking cares.
No,
but Andor.
first homosexual Latino.
Yeah, I was gonna say we got to
actor.
add that in.
Yeah.
there. Like there's so many firsts for Pedro. I'm just glad
Put that headline back up.
I'm just glad that
Please.
now we have known for a long time that Pedro Pascal is queer as fuck. Like it's just obvious. What I wonder is like, it's very interesting to me that Pedro Pascal, as much as he virtue signals about all this stuff, and I am cool with somebody not making their sexuality like their entire personality, whatever. But I think for the reason Pedro does it is because he didn't think he would get the roles he got if he was openly gay, which is very interesting considering what an advocate he is for pushing all these things, but he's actually like not telling anybody.
Yeah, that's
himself.
strange.
It's very, very strange, isn't it? It's almost like he's admitting that maybe that might not be a good thing to put out there. But yeah, there's a reason why Pedro Pascal is all over his like female co-stars and nobody's got a problem with it. We said it a year or two ago. It's because he's fucking queer as shit. And like now, obviously that's the case.
So we have this headline. I got to read it like the Mandalorian. Sorry.
The Mandalorian and Grogu gets divided first reactions, from a thrilling adventure to one of the weakest Star Wars movies, and a snooze fest.
That was too much emotion.
Too
Gary.
much emotion.
All
I was going to
If only we had that little bitty little riff from the show you could have thrown in there while you're reading it.
Yeah, it's kind of missing that. A little
How do
bit.
they mess up good things? It's mind blowing to me. Is the mic sound better now?
Yeah, sounds great.
Perfect. Yeah, I just don't understand. We've watched it time and time again where it is, hey, here is, listen to the fans. Actually, you could probably reach out and just crowdsource something that would be amazing and would do really well, because then you're communicating with the audience that does love the series versus
that's something
now.
they're completely against. As a matter of fact, with Marvel for a long time and Star Wars, there was an edict of no fans, right? And we want to bring outsiders in, and we want to try to like, in theory, I guess that's fine if you have somebody who's dedicated and will learn the lore, but they never do. They always want to subvert it, take the easy way out, do some mystery box storytelling, and think it's about diversity. So much so that they had a story, the story group, right, had a whiteboard that they got caught with a few years back that had the word diversity on it twice. So that seems to be there, and dinosaurs. We can't forget the dinosaurs.
Yes, the dinosaurs very important. They showed up a lot.
What's the dinosaurs? Maybe I'm missing something. Wait, what's this?
There's some creatures in Mandalorian. There is.
So this was for the High Republic, though, right? That's what that was all about, and it was basically a bunch of gay autistic people getting together and throwing up on a board what they think is cool, right? So you had like dinosaurs, trains, choo-choos, and gay stuff. That's pretty much what they thought of.
But also
from the beginning, this was they always wanted to use Star Wars as a vehicle for their agenda, and we've seen that with what came out, like from Rey to Captain Holdo, and especially the Acolyte. These were all just, they saw Star Wars as a platform to push an agenda, even if it just destroyed the franchise. But I think they were actually deluded enough to think, oh no, we'll get a diverse crowd of, the modern audience that'll love it just as much. And it's not really working.
They put diversity on there as number 3.
Not pro-war.
Yeah.
Star Wars.
Could they say against war?
Actual
I'm not pro-war. That's such a weird.
They made it for themselves, but I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with employing people who don't know anything about a franchise if it's a smaller franchise, because maybe it's got a niche audience. But when it's Star Wars or Lord of the Rings and stuff, these are so massive that if you haven't watched it by the time you're getting employed, you just don't care about the entire genre, and therefore will always be a bad writer.
And they have hired people.
Wishes University. What? Was that? What?
I don't know. If you saw the picture of the story group, it looks like all the people Elon fired from Twitter.
Yeah.
Rival houses? What the fuck am I reading right now?
Well, they had to write down the Force in case they forgot.
I think the rival houses has much more to do with Game of Thrones than Harry Potter. This is them sitting and being like, what should we create in this Star Wars universe, and taking different things from fiction and elements and maybe shows that they think could be cool in whatever they're creating. And for full context, this was a massive project that they had planned that fell flat on its face. The first book had around 100,000 book sales, which might sound good in isolation compared to what most Disney Star Wars books have done, but compared to everything they had done before in the expanded universe, that is pitiful, those type of sales. And it just went downhill from there. They were selling less than 2,000 copies for some of these books that were coming out later, and that project is over and finished. Good riddance.
The Force was so far down on that list, though.
It was.
That's what's more wild. I'm like, were they just supposed to call out words like the first word that comes to your mind?
Yep.
Say it. Not pro-war. Okay, weird, Catherine. Not pro-war. Next one. Droids. Steve, great job.
Okay.
What's the thing they use? Fuck. Skip that.
It's like they've got a group of kind of special needs kids. It's like, what is in Star Wars? Droids.
Yes.
No single main character. No single main character. Luke Skywalker is not the main character. I know there's side characters. There's supporting characters.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen this. This is stupid as hell.
Space and lightsaber battles. What? What?
This is a story.
Separate those. Those are very different combat.
Supposedly knows how to write.
Relatable characters also just means diversity and representation. It doesn't mean like character archetypes or anything.
Why is diversity in fiction
on there twice?
And humor on the bottom.
Humor is the hilarious part. It's like
on the bottom.
That's the funny part. Humor's at the bottom as fiction. Whoa.
These are out of theater reactions, which are totally different from reviews.
What of the weakest Star Wars movie? Reporter Jonathan Sims wrote, an emotionless, predictable experience that doesn't push Din Djarin anywhere interesting. Dull, unexciting fight scenes, just CGI monsters. Action figures mashed together. A long, colorless, made-for-TV movie.
Thank
Wow,
you.
that's brutal.
I mean, from having watched the trailer, that just sounds very...
It's sums it up.
What, from having watched 3 seasons of The Mandalorian, that sums it up. So, yeah, of course.
Collider's Perry Nemiroff shared criticism of Rada the Hutt, voiced by the Bear Emmy winner Jeremy Griggs. Live action Hutts are a challenge to pull off. A gladiator Hutt, even more so. And it didn't help that Rada's dialogue was often too on the nose. She posted, yeah, he did grow on me. Okay, Perry. But it feels like there was more compelling way to convey his place in the world and his mission.
Here's one from Slash Film.
Oh, Peter Shiretta. Oh.
Yeah.
Mandalorian and Grogu, the marketing had me worried, but this movie is actually a lot of fun. Yes, it does feel like a super-sized, high-budget few episodes of the TV show, more an adventure of the week than a huge galactic event story. If you like the show, you'll love this.
That is not a ringing endorsement. That is like one of the most counterintuitive compliments. Is like you're not helping the situation there, mate. With
If you've got low standards, this will meet them. Essentially,
exactly. That's
basically.
Yep. Star Wars
convincing me.
Star Wars is back on the big screen, and The Mandalorian and Grogu, that is a mouthful of a hashtag right there, is a thrilling adventure full of big fights, gnarly creatures, and plenty of adorable Grogu moments. Ooh, the little cute Grogu.
He's got the big eyes and the ears.
Does that sound like a fucking Star Wars review? What he just said?
Does it sound like a man writing this tweet?
It's so pathetic.
It's
dude.
less about lore and more about fun.
These are like the ones from like Eric Davis and Shit Reddit and all that. Like these are like plug and play that we see so often.
Yeah.
These are the ones where you want to make sure you get invited back for the next premiere. And look, some people, let's just be honest, people's tastes are different. Some people don't want to think about anything. Some people just want to see flashing lights and colors and everything and enjoy it. So that doesn't mean everybody's being completely disingenuous. But there has been a significant number of people who have been slurping up everything from Star Wars who are like coming out of this movie and think they're really disappointed. Like that one. Go read that one.
Yeah, this one.
Just
Yeah,
on
from
that
Jermaine.
note, Ryan, I think one of the things that really harms this is the fact that we have the original trilogy as the primary thing to compare against and how great that was. It reached such, great heights of what it was. And this is what Star Wars is now. And so it's just such a disappointment where there are other franchises where your expectations aren't that high and you're okay with just some lighthearted slop. And I think of like Mortal Kombat recently, where it's like, it's a Mortal Kombat film. I'm not expecting much. This is Star Wars. We would love to get
Star Wars,
right? We would love to get what original Star Wars is capable of achieving, but they don't have the talent for it.
We are so far away from that, Shad. The strength of this, I mean, you can't, the fact that it's still around and people are still discussing it is the strength of what George Lucas created, because any other franchise would be fucking dead and just a memory in the rear view mirror.
Dude, it's getting there. It is getting there.
Oh yeah. If this flops, they're fucked.
Yeah,
they're absolutely fucked. Starfighter's not going to save them.
From any of it.
Yeah, they bought this to make billion-dollar movies, and the fact of a lot of Star Wars fans like to push back on this, but the fact is, it's a Skywalker story. It's a Skywalker story. Now, there's the EU, and that's all great, but to normies, it's the Skywalker family. And how you get away from that, I don't know. And even if you do, if you press ahead 1,000 years, like Ryan suggested 1,000 times, you're almost making a new intellectual property. Because that far ahead, you're not going to have X-Wing fighters or Death Stars or Star Destroyers. So you're just making a new science fiction property. You'll have lightsabers. That's about it.
But as we've seen from Star Trek, you can still go 1,000 years in the future and fuck it up.
Yes.
It can still be done.
Now,
100%.
To what you're saying, Gary, I think you're absolutely right. But there are exceptions, and I think the best example is Knights of the Old Republic and that story, where that is like, it's not about the Skywalkers, but damn, did it feel like Star Wars. And so when people really approach it properly,
if somebody
it can be done.
competent
But
made
also-
it, I'd
Yeah, I was gonna say
watch
it's
the hell out
problem.
of it. Yeah.
people working
Also,
on it.
what that did, it did like a time travel thing, but it was all still recognizable. They like reversed some of the technology to make it look different, but everything still was recognizably Star Wars. And so if you jumped into the future, you could still have all the same things, but make it look a bit more futuristic without putting LEDs everywhere like Star Trek decided to.
The fact is, it doesn't matter what time period you're in. You have to have great writers that respect the source material and the canon, and
Or at least
they do
competent
not have
ones.
that.
And it's
we
even
could-
harder when all the fans that you've lost along the way are not going to be interested in it. So, like, even if they did somehow get the right writers, get the right people behind it, it would take a long time, I think, at this point, to rebuild any type of trust, especially amongst normies.
Yeah.
And the real question is now: do you want them to touch something like the Old Republic, or do you want them to go into the future?
No, they'll fuck it
like
up.
Garrett
I
just
said,
said, they don't. There's not a chance
No
that they'll be able
touching.
to tell these stories right.
No touching.
They can't.
If you don't think that Revan's going to be non-binary and trans in whatever adaptation they make, then you're fooling
And they're going to
yourself.
use it. They're going to be like, well, it was in the game. You could choose either gender.
Male or
So then we
females.
wanted to make it so you could.
And it's what I've been saying for years is they need to go way in the future. And that's a tough thing to do because you can't rely on just the pure nostalgia bait. You actually have to let your storytelling stand on its own. And even if they did that, I don't think they'd be successful because I don't think they're capable of it. But that's the only thing I think that they can really do if they want to ever have a chance of getting people invested in Star Wars stories again. They are stuck right now because you're locked into this era where you can pull nostalgia from, but you can't really use some of the people properly because all the people in that era have just been decimated beyond belief. So you're trying to rely on the sounds and the visuals and these things that people know of without giving them the true thing because you fucked up Luke, you
And it
fucked up
feels
Han,
empty.
and it feels empty as fuck. And they're limited by the story that they can tell in this era too because you know where it's going.
This guy's name is Griffin Schiller.
What a name.
What a name.
But on those.
The Mandalorian and Grogu is fine. An inoffensive, technically impressive spectacle that's kind of a snooze fest. That's twice we've heard that. Very much structured like an abridged season of the TV show, which unfortunately plays like watching the cutscenes of a Star Wars video game instead of playing one.
That is the nicest way of saying something sucks.
It really is.
It's like, I don't like
This
it.
is going to be
It's not
bad,
fine.
guys. This is
It's
going to
not.
be really
Yes, it
fucking
is.
bad.
That means there's going to be nonstop action, but we feel nothing for it
Yep.
because it
Everyone's
means
favorite
nothing.
Will Eric Butts cry? That's all I want to know.
Survey
You know
says
he will.
yes.
You know
Will
he
we
will.
have Eric?
He already
Butts
is.
tears?
Yeah. He
Well, I mean,
absolutely will.
we could surmise that from the trailer, right? It was pretty. So it's exactly what we think it's going to be.
The craziest thing to me, I guess, is that they're like no big cameos, no nothing. That's the most surprising thing to come out of this for me because I was almost sure that they were going to try to pull something out of their asses because they have to be somewhat aware that they have nothing going for them. But no, they're not even self-aware enough to understand that.
Yeah. And when you're going to have to make like
Maybe this
over $550 million probably just to break even, those kinds of things are the things that could have potentially made that a possibility. But yeah, if you don't have that, any of that, I don't think there's any chance.
Well, they might have pulled it out, Ryan. They might have. Well, hey, they might have removed any of the cameos from this
You got to know when to pull out.
Yeah, but like Ahsoka is going.
You have to have a
for
good
reshoot
pullout
now.
game. It's just a fact. Sorry.
Looking forward to
Pause, man.
I thought that's a universal truth.
Yeah.
I have 5 kids. This is not known to me. So.
You're not very good at it.
But
It's okay.
It's the sin of Odin.
Ahsoka's is being pushed back. There's likely reshoots happening. We had the rumors that Disney is making shifts with Star Wars, and there are 0 cameos in this. When we were talking about the possibility of Han, Luke, and Leia showing up in this, maybe they are making moves.
Well, hold on. To be fair, the only people who have ever hinted at cameos in this have been us.
Yeah.
Right? There's never been
Just
any
speculating,
indication
yeah.
that anything was actually in there. It's just been us thinking about what could they do. Like, are they trying
There
to
was
pull
some
something
news.
out of their ass?
There was some internal news that there was going to be
Hold on.
actors involved, but
Internal news from the same sources that tell us that Star Wars is being fucking, that the sequel trilogy is getting deleted every fucking year, always coming out around May 4th, right? Like, I get it, and I know that's out there. I know the website that published some of those, Geeks and Gamers. I just don't believe it, and I've been very clear with that. I don't think there's any evidence to actually suggest it. And yeah, Ahsoka's getting pushed back, and I don't know if there's going to be reshoots. We'll see if there's going to be reshoots. It might just be a timing thing to be like, all right, we just put out Maul Shadow Lord. We're about to have Mando. Should we put something right here now in like Q3, or should we expand it out a little bit for the beginning of the year and then Starfighters in the summer so they actually have consistent like content? I don't know. Or it might be because Dave Filoni's just really bad at his job because he's never done any live action stuff before.
I mean, the Geeks Gamers article mentioned de-emphasizing. Like, I could see that for a while, but I can't speak to the newer rumors, but I can definitely speak to the older rumors. I had a guy. Well, we had a few people from Lucasfilm shop at my comic store, right? So I've got a buddy who works at Lucasfilm, and I felt like really stupid calling him about this. But this was a few years back, Fake Wizard. So I called him. I'm like, so have you heard about the rumor of it being the Disney trilogy being erased? And he's all, yeah. And I'm all, so is it true? And he's all, no. He's all, we don't have a plan.
No shit. Clear.
that's even worse.
It is.
That much is clear. Did you invite him to Friday Night Tights after you heard that? That's pretty much
He won't come on.
Boo.
Not because he's worried about losing his job, is because he's got a reputation to protect. So, sorry, Eli.
I got Eli.
I'm part of the unsub community. I know where I belong.
Yeah,
I think those are very different things, right? The idea of not focusing on some of these characters from the sequels, we've already kind of seen that, right? That's such a different thing than erasing the Disney trilogy from continuity. That is a whole, because it's so much more than just that. Every one of these fucking shows ties into that. Every one of these shows, all the Mandoverse, all the Ahsoka stuff, all of them, like made by Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau, all these shows tie into the events of the sequel trilogy. So it's not as simple as just X out the sequels and now everything's fine. You'd have to X everything out. Every single thing that they've done since they bought it. And I'm a full advocate of that.
Yeah, I know.
They're never doing it.
I wish it would happen.
Yeah,
God,
as far
yes.
as far as the report goes, like obviously, we've all shared our individual opinions on that story, but the bottom line is look at the reaction to the story to fully understand just how much people hate Disney Star Wars.
Yeah, that's
how much people want this shit and how much they could benefit from it. I know it would create a shitstorm online because a lot of people that don't go to watch Star Wars movies would cry about them changing Star Wars. That's what would happen, and it would create a,
honestly, I think that's their only play that would be successful. It would reinvigorate conversation again with Star Wars, because right now people just kind of expect it to be either mid or completely trash. So if you do a giant move like that, that would get eyeballs back on the
that would
the
show you
franchise.
mean
That would
business.
Show you mean business.
Eli, so there's a rumor that's been going around for years that Disney's going to erase the Disney trilogies and basically start over and make things right. And it gets a ton of traction. How many impressions did Geeks and Gamers get on their post?
Like 30 fucking million. Yeah, it
like-
gets a
yeah,
ton
it
of
was like
traction.
30 million. So that shows you that's what I mean. It's still anecdotal, but fuck the people who would be upset. Do it.
You'd add that to the net you're making overall, because those people are going to show up in hate, which is viewership. The entire nerd Star Wars love community is also going to be like, holy shit, that's awesome. As you said, they mean business. They just deleted all those three movies. Hell yeah, let's see what they're doing. and then you just make sure that trailer and that story is buttoned up nice and tight, listen to the community, and you have a monster film. Think of how many people would show
You
up.
have people talking about it. You have interest in it. Like, I see Ryan. Like, it's never going to happen, but it's not like it's unprecidented. They've done it with movies before. It's just it's been with Terminator, and it didn't turn out
there. Yeah.
That's the thing. Part of the reason it wouldn't happen for this is because it's like ideologically linked, and they care far more about what their peer base thinks than the audience. And so to them, yes, the audience may like it, but the media has been putting so much effort into spinning loads of stories about why all of this is required. Representation's really important. And if you go back on it, all of those articles are now not only wrong, but essentially the wrong side of history. They destroyed everything. I mean, the ideas are wrong. And so they'd have to essentially commit to the opposite side.
Yeah. The other thing, too, is I think it's too fucking late, man. The audience has walked away. I mean, yeah, sure, you can decanonize all that shit. Try and do a reset, but is that really going to bring people back, especially when the people that fucked everything up are still there?
That's the thing. And and from their perspective, from like a risk assessment thing, because as much as we hate it, and much as a lot of people do hate it, and it's obviously way more unpopular than anything else, there are people that enjoy those movies. They're out there. They exist. They go to the Galaxy's Edge and stuff like that. So that is Disney's core fan base right now. The only ones that are still hanging around. Like, that's their fan base. That's their audience. So you would be telling those people to go fuck themselves in a desperate hope to recapture the people who you told to go fuck themselves 5 years ago, and hope that those people come back. So whereas I feel like you can get nearly the same level of impact if you just stop focusing on that, start making great stories, start respecting the fans. It's just a situation where I think is never realistically going to happen from a company like Disney, from a sub company like Lucasfilm.
I think if you did, which one of the books is your guys' favorite out of like here's a canon book series from the past, the present? Which one?
Heir to the Empire.
I mean, the one that everybody would say is the Timothy Zahn Heir to the Empire Thrawn trilogy. Yeah. So
imagine if they did that perfect. They actually like, hey, we mean business. Look, we're actually adapting this into film, and they follow that script, and then that they show that they care. Then that's when you go, okay, hey, we're going to delete these 3 movies. These are no longer canon. But as you can see from this, we do mean business. We want to recreate everything to your guys' standard. It does great. Okay, we're deleting the old ones. Now everyone would. I think you would have a higher reception to people being on board then. It's like,
but they'd have to nail those.
The issue with that, as Ryan has said, is if it was as simple as just deleting 3 movies, but it's not, because they've connected all of the other stuff.
The management,
the shows
to those.
So you couldn't really do Heir to the Empire.
Right. No,
you would have to wholesale wipe it out.
The only way you can do it, and if we're talking like in a realistic way for an unrealistic scenario, to be clear, but the only realistic way is to do it like X-Men Days of Future Past. Like, you've got to do it in universe, like
with the world between worlds.
That's the only.
It's so
that's
stupid,
the only,
because you're still building off.
People won't understand.
No, I get it. I'm just saying, like, that's more realistic than getting rid of the sequel trilogy. Is all I'm saying within the universe, because you can't do it because of all the connective tissue of all the other shows and shit like that.
We all know what
have
they're
to make
going
it
to do.
where that's one possibility, but at that point, the normies aren't coming back, because they're going to look, oh, okay, we're jumping the shark now. We're just doing multiple timelines, and you're done. They're not coming back for that.
Yeah, how'd that multiverse work for Marvel?
And the thing is, all of it relies upon this fantastical dream in which the people that are there can actually make a good Star Wars. They fucking can't. Like, we have had one of the most beloved characters from the expanded universe. We've seen how he was treated by Dave Filoni, who is now in charge of all of Lucasfilm. And he was brought in, treated like a Scooby-Doo villain, like a retarded piece of shit. And look at that in Ahsoka. That character that they took, that is just a preview of what you would get if modern Lucasfilm makes an Heir to the Empire movie. It is more likely that a man can actually become a woman than that Disney makes a good adaptation of
No joke.
Well, and on top of that, Ryan, they fucked him up in Rebels. That's where it all started.
Introduced.
Yeah.
That's where he was a Scooby-Doo villain in Rebels, and then they brought that to live action.
And in Ahsoka, Thrawn was a joke, an absolute retard. And then it was like, everything is going wrong. And then it's like, but I still win. It's like the meme. I have more blood on me, therefore I'm the victor. It was just absolutely.
Yes.
I failed utterly. Part of my plan.
It's my plan all along.
Yes, I wanted all of my guys to die in this fight. I win.
Right.
Yeah, Lucasfilm got rid of this.
Gina.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, she dropped 100 pounds.
Crazy.
That's insane.
Amazing.
Wow.
That's insane.
Yeah, we've been talking about this Gina fight and stuff like that, and people always like, "Who do you think's gonna win?" And I'm like, it's kind of tough to handicap or predict a fight when both people have been out of the fight game for so long, right? Both Ronda and Gina have been out. Both of them are very different fighters and have completely different strengths. So, a couple of us are going to be there at the fight, and that's going to be awesome. I think that this moment means so much to her. After all this shit she's been through, the bottom of the bottom that she had to go through when she got, destroyed, and fought her way all the way back to this huge thing. I think this means so much to Gina, and I cannot wait to see the fight tomorrow night.
Yeah, man. We're going to be there. It's going to be awesome. Can't wait.
Good luck, Gina.
I'm pulling for her. I mean, obviously pulling for her, but I definitely pulling for her for the reasons Ryan brought up about everything she's gone through and how big of a moment this could be. So it's going to be awesome. So I
think a lot of people are pulling for her.
Yeah. Yeah, she's clearly the fan favorite for sure.
Easy, Garrett.
Yeah, Garrett.
She's not watching. She's not watching.
She's gonna do it. She's gonna win or whatever.
Yeah, they're absolutely pulling during this picture right now.
All the time, pulling all the time.
So shout out to my princess. She's gonna win that fight. Known her for years.
I am a happily married man. She's a very pretty young lady. We'll just say that.
Her and Rhonda.
Great personality. Great personality.
Great personality.
Yeah.
Z.
Yeah, we all lost focus on everything we were going to talk about.
I don't even know. And she's got a boyfriend who could kill you with his eyebrow. So,
does anybody remember what we were talking about before you pulled that picture?
I think it was
guacamole or something.
Guacamole. Yeah. That sounds good.
Was that it?
We were talking about Disney Star Wars, and the takeaway from this, and you guys have said it before, you can't hide the numbers behind streaming now. This movie will be the test. And it will be the test that leads them to remaking the original trilogy. That's exactly what they're going to fucking do.
That's what they'll decide.
Yep.
Nerderotic.com. Please subscribe.